Hey, it's Fletch. Welcome to this audio version of my latest blog, Single Names Having the Biggest Impact. You know, once you get really good at what you do for a living, there comes a day when you get to drop your last name. Everyone knows who you are, and everyone knows what you do. Well, this past Saturday, I was sitting in my favorite recliner. My Bengal cat, Fred, was on my lap taking a nap when the phone rang. When I looked down at the name, I smiled, as this was someone well-known in the industry and someone that I personally considered not just a friend, but a mentor. "I just wanted to give you a call and say hi, my friend, and see how you were doing," he said. He asked about family, he asked about a few personal things we'd discussed in the past, and he finally asked how I was doing and how work was going. We had a great discussion, like we always do, and naturally, it came around to our common group of friends. And that's when it hit me. The friends that we both know were known by a single name, not just because we were familiar with them, but because the industry was familiar with them. Now, certainly there were names that were somewhat uncommon and naturally more rememberable, like Jameson or Karima or Nate, but there were others that were more common, yet still unique to the individual and their personal strengths and capabilities. Names like Michael and Tracy and Nick and Alicia. So while some people are lucky and are born in the USA and have earned that right to be known as just Bruce, every industry has got their group of trusted leaders and single namers. You know, the past few weeks were full of virtual conferences, and if you look at the speaker agendas on many of the speakers were these single namers that are able to stand on their own personal laurels with just that single moniker. Industry leaders like Brian delivering important messages to the masses on the focus and direction of this life-saving industry. Seasoned veterans like Jeff and industry newcomers like Steven all had important messages for all of us. As we ventured into this virtual world of conferences, people like Ricardo challenged and dared people to be great, and people like Hank took on that challenge and rocked the house with their message. Even people at high levels in the government, like David, delivered important messages that covered where we're going from a policy perspective. And Kim brought together an amazing group of commercial trendsetters and fostered a very informative conference that even included social media one-on-ones, allowing people to still meet and greet each other and do that in a private session. That was something that many thought could only be done in person and face-to-face. Every year at every public safety conference, there's always a primary takeaway that pretty much gets murmured by the entire bulk of the attendees. In recent years, that theme has been the cloud or next-gen 911 being almost here. But this year, mainly by the influence of COVID-19 and the fact that we were forced to meet virtually, we realized that technology can work here and even work to our advantage. Having no other option but to get resourceful, many leaders like Chuck assembled virtual dispatch go kits that allowed remote working in an instant and from anywhere there was broadband. And for the first time ever, some call taking went virtual. You know, a few years ago, I floated the idea of public safety dispatchers being completely mobile, located in command and control vehicles similar to a tactical dispatcher. But instead of being tied to a particular incident, they're free and on the move so that their availability and connectivity is maximized. 5G connectivity will let us put communications just about anywhere. And the natural mesh topology that exists with that network will provide ultimate levels of resiliency and self-healing elements, minimizing downtime while maximizing speed and throughput. You know, given those conditions, maybe it's not so crazy to think about a mobile call taker dispatcher and emergency communications specialists located in a vehicle that's deployable where it's needed and, most importantly, when it's needed. I honestly believe that technology's reached the point where being tied to a foundation and four walls might not make architectural sense anymore. Maybe it's time to open the door and take a proverbial step outside. Once again, I want to thank all of my single namer friends and colleagues in the industry and the hundreds of others that I was just unable to mention here. Oh yeah, as for that person that called me this Saturday just to say hi, just in case you haven't figured it out, of course, that was none other than my dear friend and mentor, Steve. Thank you, my friend, for all you've done in the industry over the many years, and thanks for inspiring me for my topic this weekend on my blog and podcast. That wraps up this audio version of my latest blog, Single Names Having the Biggest Impact. This is Fletch. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter at Fletch911. Check out the rest of my blogs and podcasts at www.fletch.tv. Be safe, stay well, and thanks for what you do. We'll catch you next time.